What is up, YouTube? Jake Bland here with Apocalypse Movies, and I'm joined today by Brian Avellino, and we're here to do a spoiler-filled review of the brand new Warner Brothers reboot of Tomb Raider, the Alicia Vikander-led video game movie, the franchise reboot,
anything else?
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on it because this is really the first video game reboot that we've gotten. Obviously, we know the Angelina Jolie-led Tomb Raider movies from 2003, 2004, or 5, somewhere around there. Great for what they were, especially for us because, you know, we were a little bit younger. We loved them. She was the bomb back then, so that's just a little easy. This is, you know, in an age where video game movies have failed time and time again. This is kind of supposed to be the one. It's got all the pieces in place to be the one. And we're going to talk about whether it is or not now. We're going to try and keep this short as possible. We may get into some depth about some things, and our love or hate. A love or hate for this movie may extend this a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, let's just start it off with Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft. Now, when this came out, that she was playing the character, this was huge.
For you, yeah.
Because, in general, because this was directly after she won the Oscar for The Danish Girl a few years ago. And this is the first movie she signed on to after winning an Oscar. That's pretty big for a video game movie to get that kind of caliber in their lead role. She had obviously popped up in the scene for a few movies, but this was like really her first giant, you know, in-your-face blockbuster that she was a part of. And she absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it. 100%. I'll say it right now, she is better than Angelina Jolie in the role. And granted, they are completely different roles.
Very different.
As far as characters and where they're at. But, dude, she is awesome as Lara Croft.
She's easily the best part of the movie. By far. Her performance was phenomenal.
Yeah.
She drove that movie. Without her, it would be a different story. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah,
very true.
But she, like I said, is easily the best part of that whole entire movie.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a very different type of Lara Croft. This is beginning stages. It's 7 years after her father disappeared. She's got to be like early 20s.
Has to.
I would say. They hint at her young age a bit, but I think that, you know, she's definitely in her early 20s. And you got the bike courier stuff and her not wanting to take over the father's company and still trying to find her way. She didn't go to school, as we found out in the movie.
She refuses to accept her dad is dead.
Exactly. So it's much different from what we got with Angelina Jolie. But it's just amazing.
I liked it because, for me, the Tomb Raider of Angelina Jolie was very, like, sexualized in a way. This was more like, this
she was really like
chick, she's gonna beat the crap out of you. Well, but she's also, like, not superhero. Like, the movie opens up with her losing a fight.
Yeah, and the fight's kind of awesome, but then she does lose a fight, like, she gets tapped out. Yeah, and Angelina Jolie kind of came out at a time when there weren't really a lot of female superheroes around. There's a buttload now, and you kind of have to make her gritty and violent insert like that. The scene where she kills the dude in the forest after she runs away, that is, I was not expecting that, first of all, but you could see it on her face, like she was terrorized by that moment.
Anytime she shot that bow and arrow,
dude,
was legit.
She
was a badass with that.
Totally. It's awesome. But as far as the other cast members, I mean, you have Daniel Wu, who played Lu Ren,
who was awesome.
As the drunken sailor, as they call him.
Hilarious.
Great side story. Didn't take any prominent role in the film, but it was just kind of a cool little nod there to have him there, and he was a good counter to Lara Croft.
It was enough to, like, draw your attention to care about him.
And they had a good relationship.
Yeah, it made you care about him, but not enough that it took away from her.
I'm really hoping that they continue to use him in the future films.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a cool partner, I guess you could say, to her character. Lara Croft's father, played by Dominic West, I believe. Much bigger role than I was expecting.
Oh, yeah.
As the movie kind of went on, it kind of became a little predictable as to what was happening.
Oh, well, yeah.
But it definitely felt like his role was upped from what we thought from the trailers.
Spoiler alert, he's alive.
Yeah, no, he is alive. He is alive in the movie.
It.
Yeah, for sure. But I like the way they used him. You know, again, not taking over anything. His part was used in the right ways. He was used for specific things to kind of push Lara to what she was supposed to become.
Each character was very balanced used perfectly
with her.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. With her, that it didn't take away anything.
Yes, and that gets to Walter Goggins' villain, Matthias. God, what is his last name? They call him Matthias. Yeah, they call him Matthias in the movie.
Said his name once.
Oh, Vogel. Matthias Vogel. That's what it is. And so I know that you were kind of iffy on him. Not the role, but you actually thought like you felt like someone else could have played the role just a little bit better.
I kind of wanted a little bit more like evilness. Like
he was very relaxed for a villain.
Yeah, he was I mean, don't get me wrong. He was shooting people for no reason.
Well, that scene where he walks up, shoots a worker because the worker's sick, and then walks away.
Yeah, I mean, like that's evil, but like I don't know. It didn't like sell me 100% with how like evil.
And have you seen him in anything else? Is this your first like, real experience with him?
Probably.
That's probably why. And we had mentioned this earlier, or I had mentioned this earlier, but he hasn't seen The Hateful Eight yet, and you get the full Walter Goggins experience in that movie. So I know what he's capable of as a bad guy. It is a very different type of villain. I will agree with Brian on that, but I felt like he did a good job for what he was given. Yeah, and maybe probably what he was asked of. To be honest,
I mean, he was still enjoyable as a villain. I just kind of wanted a little bit more evil, and I couldn't stop staring at his receding hairline. I'm sorry, he needed to get that
again.
Fixed.
That's from someone who hasn't seen him in movies and it really expects that.
Yeah, it's bad.
So we knocked out characters. Let's get to the story a little bit. A much more simplified story this time around. Obviously an origin story for the character of Lara Croft. I haven't played the video games myself, but it was said that it's based on the 2013 game that came out a number of years ago, kind of her first adventure. Okay. She went to a Japanese island searching for her father. Same thing here. There's probably a few things here and then they twisted up a little bit, but I like the simplicity to it. It didn't, try to go too much. It stayed within its realm of focusing on not going too far with the video game genre, I guess you could say. Yeah. It was much more movie-ized or film-ized, and so I personally enjoyed it, and I liked the kind of video game nods that we had throughout it as well. Like the scene where she's going down the river and she gets trapped in the plane, and then she falls out of the plane with a parachute. That very much felt like a video game level to me because there was one thing after another that she had to get through. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm totally okay with this.
It was pretty good for, like you said, you don't know very much about the video game stuff. I don't know much. I know she's very proficient with the bow and arrow.
Oh, which was a great part of this movie.
Which we just said earlier. The pickaxe, I believe.
Oh, dude, the ice pick.
Ice pick.
Oh my god, don't even get me started.
I mean, you definitely felt like there was little video game aspects of it, and for me, I loved the story. When I first heard that the dad was trying to find like supernatural stuff, I was like, oh no, there's gonna have supernatural type stuff in this. But then the end, how they twisted it to like, again, spoiler. Twisted it to be a disease. I loved that.
Yeah, it wasn't. You weren't really expecting it, and so the whole time the movie is based on the father trying to find this old Japanese queen that basically had supernatural powers because
she's the queen of death.
Yeah, and he was doing this because when his wife died, he was searching for something to hold on to her, basically. And this group called Trinity wants the same power that he doesn't want, but he's trying to hide from the world because he found out what really happens. Yeah. And when they get down to the tomb, which by the way, the whole tomb sequence again
so awesome.
Felt like a video game.
It was so
but
awesome.
I also kind of got hints of like almost Indiana Jones vibes because they were
They
were going through stuff, and figuring out puzzles and the floor and like all this stuff.
I have been wanting to say that it reminded me of Indiana Jones, but like. I don't want to like offend to the sense of people
so
like
I'm an avid fan of Indiana Jones here. Like I'm not offended, but Indiana Jones is the best by far. Yeah. But there's a vibe because like Temple of Doom where they're going through to get, the eternal life, basically they go through these levels and thing like you have the floor that was falling, you have the spike, like there's all these traps to the tomb. Very Indiana Jones.
I definitely without like obviously comparing to the level of Indiana Jones, like obviously that's one of the greatest movies of all time. It gave you that feel though, like you were like
it was a giant maze.
Yeah, like going through this old maze, and it looked really good.
Yeah, no, it was, the action was used very well, the kind of camera angles they used, the way they used each character. A few little lines here and there that were kind of funny as well. Like, where's the floor? That one army guy that got trapped on the other side. But yeah, the twist was good. It wasn't, we weren't expecting it, and it wasn't, with a lot of these movies, you see them try to go too much.
Oh, I thought that went perfect.
It was not too much. It was, it wasn't in your face. Like, it made you go, oh.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. And so the story, I mean, for the most part, worked really, really well.
Yeah. I mean, once they started setting out towards the island, I was like hooked. I know you got hooked.
I told you, and you were shocked. Like, the moment I knew I was gonna love this movie is the way they used that bike scene in the beginning.
It was.
I don't know what it was about that scene, but I was so hooked in about what was going on, and like just the idea of one being a rabbit and everyone. It's like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I would like low key want to play.
All right, so we've been raving about this movie. Obviously, you could tell that we really, really enjoyed it. But are there any things that maybe you kind of iffy on, that maybe made you had take a step back from liking it as much as probably you were expecting?
Yeah, Danny Goggins' hairline.
Walter Goggins?
Excuse me.
That's it? The hairline?
The hairline was horrible.
But that's
all
it?
I could say. No. There was definitely, like, it's slow moments. There was, like, a lot of, like, just chatter a couple times that I was just kind of like, okay. And then, but other than that, like, I didn't like, this wasn't, like, the best movie ever. It was entertaining. I liked it. I would definitely want to see another one of it. I can't figure out what it is that, like, didn't make me, like, love it. But it was still, like, super entertaining, really good. I think Goggins was a little bit, like I said, the whole, like, he wasn't, like, evil enough for me. He kind of was, like, really docile, and then would, like, do something where you, like shoot the guy that you're like, okay, this guy's bad. Her dad kind of bored me a lot. Once they got into the tomb, it was just kind of always like, no, don't do that. No, oh my god. Like, and the constant,
like, just daddying.
Yeah, like, the constant, like, oh, Sprout, and, like...
I like that too.
The whole kissing thing, that did that so many times.
Yeah,
like,
but it...
Other than that, but, like, that's nitpicking. Like, there isn't, like, one glaring thing that I was like, okay, this is really bad.
I'm kind of in the same boat. There's not really a whole lot that I could think of as like, okay, I didn't like that. There's a lot of things that I like about this movie that a lot of people probably won't like.
Yeah.
The one thing I can probably say as far as maybe that doesn't make me go like, oh my god, this is the best movie ever. I felt like a lot of the great scenes in this movie were in trailers. A lot of the good action scenes, obviously the spoiler stuff like her father finding the tomb, etc. But a lot of the good stuff, like the whole jumping from one ledge to another with the ice pick, that was in the trailer. The running with the bow and arrow, that was in the trailer. Jumping from the plane, that was in the trailer. The parachute, like all of that stuff was in the trailer. Again, in the movie, I wasn't like, man, I wish I wouldn't have seen that in the trailer. But as I kind of thought about it, I would have loved it so much more if they didn't show so much in the trailers.
I kind of forgot about it until it happened.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and again, that's kind of nitpicking. Like, the movie may have packed a little bit more punch if they didn't show as much, but we're trying to find things not to like because it's not a perfect movie, and we're having a hard time finding things, but there are things wrong, and we probably will find things wrong in the future.
But it's entertaining.
For the most part, I mean, I'll say right now, this is probably... And this is just off the top of my head because I don't know exactly what has come out over the last 10 years or so. This might be my favorite video game movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what...
Like, there's been Warcraft, there was Mortal Kombat, there was the original Lara Crofts,
people are gonna hate
Assassin's Creed, like... Well, Jacob's gonna hate me for Mortal Kombat, but... like, this might be my favorite video game movie.
I'd have to, like, sit there and, like, look through the video game genre that's been made. But it was definitely, like... At least 1, 2, 3 at the lowest.
And look out because on next week's Apocalypse movie show, we're actually going to be talking about everything video game wise or video game movie because this movie did come out. So you're going to find out our rankings or what we liked and didn't like. So we'll go into more depth there. But off the top of my head, this movie kicks ass, man. It is great. Go see this. Go support it because I swear to God, if there is no sequel, I'm going to lose my freaking you know what? And I'm gonna be so upset if there's no sequel. Like one of the few times where I'm gonna be super pissed off. This and Mad Max. Like Mad Max should have a sequel right now. But so should Tomb Raider should have a sequel next year because do not let Alicia Vikander go. Like just let her be Lara Croft,
okay.
man. Like come on.
I think they'll have one. It
Depends on the money. It depends if people want to see it. That's the thing.
I think it will.
I hope so.
I think it was solid enough to warrant another one. The ending definitely left it open for one with the whole Trinity reveal.
Yeah.
I think it will.
I hope so, man.
We'll see.
All right, well, on that note, Brian, why don't you give a score out of 10, man? I'm kind of...
I'm honestly, like, I've been fighting between, like, a 7.5 and 8. I know that's low for you. The reason I'm thinking I can't decide is because, like I said, I can't really pinpoint, like, one huge thing that I absolutely hated. It's just a bunch of, like, little nitpicky things. Other than...
you got a score, though?
Why not? I guess I'll go with 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I
like it.
It was enough to want another one, and that, to me, it warrants the higher score.
So I've been sitting on like an 8.5 for the last, 6 hours since I've seen it. I saw it this morning. Or Friday morning, I guess you could say. But as I started talking about it more, I started to like it more.
I know.
And I'll probably go see it, once or twice more, especially with my movie pass. But I'm going to just right now, bump up to an 8.75. I'm not going to hit that 9 just yet. Because I do want to see it one more time. But this movie's awesome, man. Go see this movie.
All right, well.
Yeah, so you got an 8 there. You got an 8.75 here. This is our spoiler review for Tomb Raider, the new reboot with Alicia Vikander. Credit to Roy Ruthok, who directed it, by the way. We didn't mention his name, but he did an awesome job on this movie. Sequel, please, sequel. That is Brian. I am Jake. Thank you for watching our spoiler review today. Check out everything on apocalypsemovies.com. This YouTube channel, everything we got going on here, trailer reactions, reviews, Padawan podcast, the movie show like I mentioned before. Look out for that on the video game stuff coming out next week. Again, thank you for joining us, and until next time, see you later.